Hey Google, play The Roots featuring Belial on a Tiny Desk.
Playing the Roots beat. Bilal, NPR Music Tiny Desk Concert on YouTube Music.
Hey Google, turn it all the way up.
What's up, y'all? This is Jeff Bradshaw and Brad Seven. Welcome to our edition of Tiny Desk Concerts. We are the legendary Roots Group. My name is Questlove. Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.
I got a spelling problem. What is that? How the fuck is that glare? Some more. Successful. Entrepreneur. Woo! Yeah. Yeah. I write spells, not curses. Spells are good. Curses are bad. My spell is I spill what I want into the ether, so I make an impression on my subconscious, and it fucking lets my superconscious know this is what I want my life to be. Yeah. So every hell fuck day, I'm going to write it into the ether. Am that. Yeah. Every day. Oh, I promise you. Whoa.
People swear they walk, but they walking in their sleep.
I pray the Lord their souls to keep, 'cause wolves disguised as sheep patrol our streets.
And we all know that which you sow, you should
Shall
reap.
reap. Yeah.
And those who do know,
You should teach.
through every loophole, we gon' leap until we reach a common ground and become unbound.
Because
Your hometown
becomes a battleground. Tears weighing down. So, yeah.
it ain't fair.
No. Oh, it's not fair.
It's hard when you're looking for love.
Oh,
And
it ain't there.
Or try to read what tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. When it ain't clear. Because the well is running dry.
Racial tensions running high.
Under 21 is far too young to die.
My salvation can defy. This marks the rise.
Oh, yeah. Every day I wear a mask like an umpire.
Yo, I guess I gotta laugh to keep from crying.
Yeah.
Today another friend passed on a young side. It's bad cause a good friend's hard to
Come by.
Cause this is never colorblind,
Never got shot.
For one crime, you may never see the
Sunshine.
We know if one time's giving you the finger round, it don't mean fuck you, it's not the number
One sign.
I hear it turning downtown to the
Front
front line.
line.
It's something like the same place, but
But
it
it
ain't
ain't
safe.
safe.
It's people days been amazed, though it ain't grace. The devil feeding off hate, so he gained weight. It's
Hell.
water in a well, so we can't taste. Possible to coexist
in the same
place.
space.
It took it from the human race to a tank chase into the black face with the war paint face.
Sing that song, you. Sing that song, you.
Speak on it, brother.
Yeah. What he said. Yeah. So this generation forsaken for all that's real. What emotions do we feel? Is your poison called a pistol or a pill? Yeah.
Some people say
Let Jesus take the wheel. Others say thou shalt not kill.
But that old time religion
Ain't gon' pay your bills.
we come so far, yet here we are.
Ruthless God. Presumed inferior, but we ain't scared ya. Yeah.
It ain't there.
Oh, yeah.
It's hard when you're looking for
Oh,
love.
oh, oh.
And it ain't there. Oh, try to read what tomorrow. But it ain't clear.
No, it's not clear.
Oh, I think the well is running dry.
It's running high. Under 21 is far too young to die.
My salvation's on the fire. Why
Oh!
Native American Mexicans invested in wrestling with Willie Lynch's next of kin. The rising of the tide news around the next again. Look how they try to hide proof of all the excellence. The only tag you know me as is holy swag. Through any glass window we smash and Brody bags. It's coming fast, and so we have the only flag in the wind.
Yeah.
Hey yo, you know it's growing fast. I guess I'm trying to minimize regrets. I identify with death. That don't mean it's not an uninvited guest. I'm just trying to answer all of my requests and express in 140
Not.
characters or less, but I'm the best. Educated, re-legislated, premeditated, dedicated.
Today.
Every that ever painted with blood, not tuition, without a cop to
Tomorrow.
Opposition, despite the opposition.
Oh. Promise you. Goddess. Yeah.
looking for justice, and it's just us. It ain't fair. There's a riot going on out there, and it ain't fair. Oh no, it ain't fair. It ain't fair. It ain't fair. No, it ain't fair. Oh, when your protector is your predator.
Thank you.
Hey Google, stop. Yeah, cause it ain't fucking fair. And it never was fair. However, why are we still in the game? And we purposely don't even try to make it fair. And now that the truth has been shown, SHONE and SHOWN, both on your ass, you now know maybe, just maybe, some of our ancestors had the same problems as us. And they did not conquer it. And maybe in the world that they're in now. I don't know. All dead people before us, all slaves, and all the copper colored people before us, if you want to say that they're our ancestors, then maybe we should also say that, and they may have been sheeple. Yeah, the sheeple didn't just start in this generation or the generation before us. The sheeple have been here for a hell fuck long time, and that is the real reason why we're still behind. Oh, and we are behind. If you think that we're winning, duh, then I'm gonna have to question your reality and your sanity and your mentality. Yeah, it's going to happen. I'm gonna notice right away. As soon as you start talking to me, I'm gonna be like, yeah. So, bye bye now. Yeah, and the ones that I continue to talk to, and that didn't happen, yeah, I may feel a certain resonant frequency with you, and not even trying to make like I'm the one. What I'm saying is, for a long hell fuck time, Aquarius has been pushing its energy throughout the ether, and some people have been catching on, and some people are, still catching on. But don't fucking blame me if I came with that first wave. And I'm not denying it. And I'm not trying to act like I'm still on your fucking mainstream take that ass shit. I'm not even trying to act like that anymore because I don't have to, because I've eliminated all the people who were causing a ruckus and trying to hold me true into the matrix. And I don't want to be in the matrix. I don't want to be in the matrix. And you know I don't want to be in the matrix. And thus forth I've been called crazy. But couldn't have been crazy because who do you call when you need a shot of rhythm and blues? Who do you call, baby? Rotor baby troubleshooter. Yeah, I'm your rotor rooter. I am the troubleshooter. Boom! Whoop! That set my fucking smoke alarm off. What the hell? Fuck. I'm gonna open my window. I want to hear that in 4D. Shit. Woo! Come on, nature. Come on, nature. Burn this motherfucker down. But not me. Let me reverse that spell. Oh, don't burn this mother. Not mother. Mother. U-T-H-A. Fucker. U-C-K-A. Down. Don't burn this motherfucker down. But I would like to hear that shit again in 4 fucking D with my window open like, boom! What the fuck was that? China? Russia? No, it was us. Yeah, we're not even gonna get into cloud seeds and all of that shit. That was actually my key to get the fuck up off of this platform and move on to the next segment of the day, which I promise you I'm going to be reading you some more of the game of life and how to win. Yeah, so well, all right, so Yahsinni is in the house, and I've already wasted like a whole 10 minutes or so trying to play an intro song when I know my work is cut out. So without further ado, chapter 8, called Intuition or Guidance, in the book The Game of Life and How to Play It by Florence Scovel Shinn. And I'm not wasting no more time, so let's go. There is nothing too great of accomplishment for the man who knows the power of his word and who follows his intuitive leads. By the words, he starts in action unforeseen forces and can rebuild his body or remold his affairs. Okay? I read that the way that it's written. I told you that there's some editing issues with this mofo book. So, it is therefore of the utmost importance to choose the right words, and the student carefully selects the affirmation he wishes to catapult into the invisible. Okay, he does that with the word. I do that with my wand. Same result, different technique. Okay, and this is why I'm advertising and I want everyone to have their own wand. Yeah, so he knows that God is his supply, that there is a supply for every demand, and that his spoken word releases this supply. Quote, ask and you shall receive, end quote. Man must make the first move. Quote, draw near to God and he will draw near to you, end quote. So I've often been asked just how to make a demonstration. And I reply, speak the word and then do not do anything until you get a definite lead. Yeah, not demand the lead, saying, quote, infinite spirit revealed to me the way. Let me know if there's anything for me to do, end quote. Yeah, that's your spell right there. And we're gonna get into the differences between curses and spells. One is positive, one is negative. One is yin, one is yang. One is good, one is bad. I don't do curses. I only write spells for me and my life. I don't write spells against you because that would be a curse. I don't do curses. So, I digress. The answer will come through intuition or a hunch, a chance remark from someone, or a passage in a book, etc., etc. The answers are sometimes quite startling in their exactness. For example, a woman desired a large sum of money. She spoke the words, quote, infinite spirit, open the way for my immediate supply. Let all that is mine by divine right now reach me in great avalanches of abundance, end quote. And then she added, quote, give me a definite lead. Let me know if there's anything for me to do, end quote. Now, if you, to my subscribers, if you've been following me so far on this game of life and how to play it, you've been hearing some exact hellfuck affirmations or spells to say, an exact hellfuck verbiage, and some of you have been trying this shit or saying this shit and finding that there's some positivity in it, and shit is all of a sudden working itself the hellfuck out, right? Or no, I don't know. I'm just gonna speak for me. However, if you're doing this right, you've got your wand, you've got your pen and paper, you know, that's the black ink on the white paper, impressing the subconscious, letting the subconscious get the message through to your superconscious, which is your God. Yeah. I'm gonna digress all the way through this fucking video, I can tell you that now. So, yeah. So I told you what she said. So, the thought came quickly. Quote, give a certain friend, end quote, who had helped her spiritually. Quote, $100, end quote. She told her friend, who said, wait and get another lead before giving it. That's what she told her friend. And that's what her friend said. No, she said, I'm going to give you a hell fuck $100. And her friend was like, no, get another lead first. Don't give it to me yet. That's some bogus ass shit. And that's what most of us be doing. We be turning the spell, which is good for you, into a curse, which is bad. So she told her, wait and get another lead before giving it. So she waited, and that day met a woman who said to her, I gave someone $1 today. It was just as much for me as it would be for you to give someone 100. This was indeed an unmistakable lead. Yeah, so she knew she was right in giving the $100. It was a gift which proved a great investment, for shortly after that, a large sum of money came to her in a remarkable way. Yeah, so giving openings, giving, giving opens the way for receiving. In order to create activity and finances, one should give. Tithing, or giving 1/10 of one's income, is an old Jewish custom and is sure to bring increase, except in the real world, it doesn't hell fuck happen. I'm adding my 2 cents now because I've already told you I don't agree with every hell fuck thing that I read if my experience has showed me different. And I promise you, buying your preacher a fucking jet airliner, it's not going to bring anything back to you. So, but for literature's sake, let's go with what Florence is on. So she told you to tithe and give 1/10 of your income, and she said that it's a Jewish custom, but bitch, you ain't Jewish. So many of the richest men in this country have been tithers, and I have never known it to fail as an investment. So I promise you, if I invest in my preacher man, which I would never do, but let's say that I did, then I would expect all those hellfuck tithings every hellfuck Sunday to add the fuck up and then come back to me at some point in time, not to find myself 10 years from now asking them to pay my electric bill. And then having to go to a protocol and damn near like a fucking body search and background check. Credit check. I ain't gonna lie. I don't know what these hoes be doing when they ask their preacher for money. I don't know what the protocol is. I ain't gonna lie, because I ain't never done it. I ain't even been in no church. And the last, if I was hell fucked that desperate, where I had to go and find a fucking community organization as a church and ask them to pay my hell fuck electric bill. Digressing again. So, here's the explanation. The 10th part goes forth and returns blessed and multiplied. Yeah. But the gift or tithe must be given with love and cheerfulness, for God loveth a cheerful giveness. It shouldn't be out of duty or obligation. Yeah, this is my 2 cents. Bills should be paid cheerfully. All money should be sent forth fearlessly and with a blessing. Yeah, but is that what's really happening? Huh? So this attitude, I like to just read this objectively. But I ain't gonna lie. A lot of shit that I say and analyze, it's going to be subjective, because I and my experience are the subjects. Yeah. So this attitude of mine makes man master of money. It is his to obey, and his spoken word then opens vast reservoirs of wealth. Yeah, that's happening. What did I write down yesterday? Let me see. Yeah. I told you. Money is a servant or a tool. It works for me. Yeah, I'm the boss. I tell it when to come and go. Yeah. Anyway, man himself limits his supply by his limited vision. Sometimes the student has a great realization of wealth, but is afraid to act. The vision and action must go hand in hand, as in the case of the man who bought the fur-lined overcoat. So, a woman came to me asking me to speak the word for a position. And so I demanded, quote, infinite spirit, open the way for this woman's right position, end quote. Never ask for just a position. Ask for the right position, the place already planned in divine mind, as it's the only one that will give satisfaction. Yeah, and if you've been following me on the shit, I keep hitting on the same hell fuck points. It doesn't take a fucking genius to connect these hell fuck dots. I'm not gonna connect the dots. So I give thanks that she had already received and that it would manifest quickly. Very soon, she had 3 positions offered her, 2 in New York and 1 in Palm Beach, and she did not know which to choose. I said, ask for a definite lead. The time was almost up, and she was still undecided which one day she telephoned. When I wake up this morning, I could smell Palm Beach. She had been there before and knew its balmy fragrance, right? I replied, well, if you can smell Palm Beach from here, it is certainly your lead. She accepted the position, and it proved a great success. Often, one's lead comes at an unsuspected time. So one day, I was walking down the street when suddenly I felt a strong urge to go to a certain bakery a block or 2 away. The reasoning mind resisted, arguing, there's nothing there that you want. However, I had learned not to reason, so I went to the bakery, looked at everything, and there was certainly nothing there that I wanted. But coming out, I encountered a woman I thought of often and who was in great need of the help which I could give her. So often, one goes for one thing and finds another. Intuition is a spiritual faculty and does not explain, but simply points the way. A person often receives a lead during a treatment. The idea that comes may seem quite irrelevant, but some of God's leadings are mysterious. Oh, haven't we heard that before? So in class one day, I was treating that individual which would receive a definite lead, okay? A woman came to me afterwards and said, while you were treating, I got the hunch to take my furniture out of storage and get an apartment. The woman had come to be treated for help. I told her I knew in getting a home of her own, her wealth would improve, and I added, I believe your trouble, which is a congestion, has come from having things stored away. Congestion of things causes congestion in the body. You have violated the law of use, and your body is paying the penalty. Come on, listen to me. Listen to me. I'm reading this shit for a reason, okay? So I give thanks that the, quote, divine order was established in her mind, body, and affairs, end quote. People little dream of how their affairs react on their body. There's a mental correspondence for every disease. A person might receive instantaneous healing through the realization of his body being a perfect idea and divine mind, and therefore whole and perfect. But if he continues his destructive thinking, hoarding, hating, fearing, condemning, the disease will return. Jesus Christos knew that all sickness came from sin, but admonished the leper after the healing to go and sin no more, lest the worst thing can come upon him. So man's soul, or subconscious mind, must be washed whiter than snow for permanent healing, and the metaphysician is always delving deep for the correspondence. Jesus Christos, the mythological character in your Bible, said, quote, condemn not, lest ye also be condemned, end quote. Judge not, lest ye be judged. So many people have attracted disease and unhappiness through condemnation of others. What man condemns in others, he attracts to himself. For example, a friend came to me in anger and distress because her husband had deserted her for another woman. She condemned the other woman and said continually she knew he was a married man and had no right to accept his attentions. I replied, stop condemning that woman, bless her, and be through with the situation. Otherwise, you are attracting the same thing to yourself. She was deaf to my words, and a year or two later became deeply interested in a married man herself. Man picks up a live wire whenever he criticizes or condemns and may expect a shot. Yeah, you're going to get a shot. Indecision is a stumbling block in many a pathway. In order to overcome it, make the statement repeatedly. Quote, I am always under direct inspiration. I make the right decisions quickly. End quote. These words impress the subconscious, and soon one finds himself awake and alert, making his right moves without hesitation. I have found it destructive to look to the psychic plane for guidance, as it is the plane of many minds and not the, quote, mind of one, or the one mind, end quote. So as man opens his mind to subjectivity, he becomes a target for destructive forces. The psychic plane is the result of man's mortal thought and is on the plane of opposites. He may receive either good or bad messages. The science of numbers and the reading of horoscopes keep men down on the mental or mortal plane, for they deal only with the karmic path. I know of a man who should have been dead years ago, according to his horoscope, but he is alive and a leader of one of the biggest movements in this country for the uplift of humanity. It takes a very strong mind to neutralize a prophecy of evil. That student should declare, quote, every false prophecy shall come to naught. Every plan my Father in heaven has not planned shall be dissolved and dissipated. The divine idea now comes to pass, end quote. However, if any good messages has ever been given one of coming happiness or wealth, harbor and expect it, and it will manifest sooner or later through the law of expectancy. So man's will should be used to back the universal will. Quote, I will that the will of God be done, end quote. It is God's will to give every man every righteous desire of his heart, and man's will should be used to hold the perfect vision without wavering. So the prodigal son said, quote, I will rise and go to my father, end quote. It is indeed often an effort of the will to leave the husk and swine of mortal thinking. It is so much easier for the average person to have fear than faith. So faith is an effort of the will. As man becomes spiritually awakened, he recognizes that any external inharmony is the correspondence of mental inharmony. If he stumbles or falls, he may know he is stumbling or falling in consciousness. One day, a student was walking along the street condemning someone in her thoughts. She was saying mentally, quote, that woman is the most disagreeable woman on the earth, end quote. When suddenly, 3 Boy Scouts rushed around the corner and almost knocked her over. She did not condemn the Boy Scouts, but immediately called on the law of forgiveness and saluted the divinity in the woman. Wisdom's way are ways of pleasantness, and all her paths are peace. Yeah. So when one has made his demands upon the universal, he must be ready for surprises. Everything may seem to be going wrong when in reality it is going right. For example, a woman was told that there was no loss in divine mind, therefore she cannot lose anything which belonged to her. Anything lost would be returned, or she would receive its equivalent. Several years previously, she had lost $2,000. She had loaned the money to a relative during her lifetime, but the relative had died, leaving no mention of her in her will. The woman was resentful and angry, and as she had no written statement of the transaction, she never received the money, so she determined to deny the loss and collected $2,000 from the Bank of Universal. She had to begin by forgiving the woman, as resentment and unforgiveness closed the doors of this wonderful bank. She made this statement, quote, I deny loss. There's no loss in divine mind. Therefore, I cannot lose the $2,000 which belong to me by divine right, end quote. As one door shuts, another door opens. She was living in an apartment house which was for sale, and in the lease was a clause stating that if the house was sold, the tenants would be required to move out within 90 days. Suddenly, the landlord broke the leases and raised the rent again. Injustice was on her pathway, but this time she was undisturbed. She blessed the landlord and said, quote, as the rent has been raised, it means that I'll be that much richer, for God is my supply, end quote. New leases were made out for the advance rent, but by some divine mistake, the 90 days clause had been forgotten. Soon after, the landlord had an opportunity to sell the house. On account of the mistake in the new leases, the tenants held possession for another year. Yeah. So the agent offered each tenant $200 if he would vacate. Several families moved, 3 remained, including the woman. A month or 2 passed, and the agent again appeared. This time he said to the woman, will you break your lease for the sum of $1,500? It flashed upon her. Here comes the $2,000. She remembered having said to friends in the house, quote, we will all act together if anything more is said about leaving, end quote. So her lead was to consult her friends. These friends said, quote, well, if they have offered you $1,500, they would certainly give $2,000. End quote. Yeah, this is why nobody ever wants to pay the said price. Anyway, so she received a check for $2,000 for giving up the apartment. It was certainly a remarkable working of the law, and the apparent injustice was merely opening the way for her demonstration. It proved that there is no loss. And when man takes his spiritual stand, he collects all that is his from this great reservoir of good. Quote, I will restore to you the years the locusts have eaten. End quote. Yeah, there's not going to be a whole bunch of ears to hear that. These adverse thoughts alone rob man. For, quote, no man gives to himself but himself, and no man takes away from himself but himself. End quote. Man is here to prove God and to bear witness to the truth. And he can only prove God by bringing plenty of lack and justice out of justice. Prove me now herewith, said the Lord of hosts, if I will not open you the windows of heaven and pour out a blessing, that there should not be room enough to receive it. I'm sure that was Jesus Christos in your mythological, biblical, Helios, Biblios. Yeah. So, that was the end of chapter 8. And I promise you I'm not going to try to read chapter 9 right now. But I will give you a clue or something to expect. Chapter 9 is called Perfect Self-Expression or the Divine Design. So anyway, with that being read and with that being said and with your ass being fed, Yahsinni is going to bed.